Hello everyone, welcome to Enqurious TV. At Enqurious, we help companies build high-performing data teams by upskilling professionals with hands-on and role-based learning, turning curiosity into career growth and business impact. I'm your host Mansi Mutreja, and today we are joined by Mr. Amit Kumar. He is a seasoned data and analytics leader with deep experience in data engineering, analytics strategy, and building scalable data solutions. Hi Amit, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Mansi?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So, I have given a very brief introduction about you, but would you like to introduce yourselves? Let's hear it from you.
Yes, let me introduce. I'm a senior data manager in OpenCurve. I'm working with OpenCurve from last 1 year. I have a total experience of 20 years, and I have started my career in the Java. Then I moved to UI, and when was I in Infosys in 2013. Then I start moving about the big data, and it's been more than a decade. I'm working with the data team. Before OpenGov, I was working as a data lead in ThoughtWorks, and before that, I was in CDK. So my whole career was in Pune. So I'm been in Pune from last 20 years.
Oh, that's great. So, with such an extensive years of experience, 20 years is a big
Yeah.
number. So, I'm sure we'll gain a lot from this podcast.
Sure.
Yeah. So, to begin with, I would want to know, let's start with your journey. So, firstly, like what drew you towards data and analytics, and how did your career evolve over time?
Okay, so I'll start. I was a Java developer, then UI developer, but in 2011, when I was in Infosys, then people start. There's a buzzword come called big data. Then start learning about big data, like what is big data, how the big data is famous. Like there's some white paper released by Google's about Hadoop. Then I start reading about it, like how we'll handle the big data with the small size machines. So that my interest went into that big data. Then I start looking at how we can process the big data or big size of files with the help of Hadoop. And then slowly, I start building on that. And then after that, I've start looking into the real time data also, where I know about Kafka, and Kafka is something which might bring more interest in the data, like how we can handle the real time data, how we can move data from one place to other place. So I start working on Kafka when there's a Kafka 0.1 versions. I have done a lot of understanding. I put a lot of question on the stack workflow, and I have like good understanding. Then I went do my Kafka certification also. So now the Kafka is pretty mature, but is one of the de facto if in a company you want to transfer data from one place to other place. Kafka is a right solution. The reason in data you need to understand, moving data is very costly. If data stay at the same place, it's very easy. It's easy to maintain. It's not cheap. It's not difficult. But when you move from one place to other place, the number of hops will increase, the complexity of maintaining the data integrity increase, and it's difficult. So, and it's always costlier to move data with the right accuracy. So Kafka solve these issues. Yeah, this is the biggest challenge in the data world.
Nice, nice. So as you said, you're with Kafka since 0.1 version. So
Yeah,
you've been there since the beginning.
yeah,
That's great. So you've worked with Adobe also, and like you earlier were dealing with data from that, and then
yeah.
data migration and all. Great. So if you want to explain to a non-technical person or maybe who's just starting their journey about what is data engineering in layman's language, how would you explain it to them? What is data
So
engineering?
And I'll tell you, like for us, like if the people see or my experience, no one directly become a data engineering. The people directly start joining the data engineering. All of us was an application developer also, right?
Hmm.
And when you're an application developer, you just deal with simple one applications, one microservice. But when you become a data engineer, so you have to deal with the multiple things, right? And you are not going the part of a one single team. You have to bring huge amount of data from across all the application to a single place, and then you have to massage the data and torture the data enough so that it will tell the truth in the future. What you can predict. So data is a new oil, and when you play with the huge amount of data and optimize a right way of a query, you can predict the data. That's a layman language. Like instead of handling the data in 1 MB or 2 MB, we talk here about 1 terabyte, 1 petabyte of a data. the job execution, it's not take like 1 second or 2 seconds. Sometimes the job will run up to 1 hour also, depending upon how complex job you have.
Right, right. Yeah. So collect ingesting the data and then after that building the ETL pipelines and all of that
Yeah.
entire pipeline. Right. Okay. And now when you look back, so what were the key moments or roles that really shaped your thinking as a data professional? Because as you just mentioned that nobody directly starts as a data engineer, but they start as
Yeah.
an application developer or a data analyst.
So I'll tell you one challenge I had in my career where like my interest go in data engineering. So there was an application. The application was a legacy application, is like 30-year-old of application. And in that application, we have to do the reporting, and all the reporting processing is happening with the help of simple SQL server, and that is a real time. It's become very complex. Then we have to take out the processing part outside the database so that it will just focus on the reporting. There where we use Kafka to make sure that all the data will go on real time to the Kafka, use the Kafka streaming, and we pre-process the data in the real time and put into the database and we'll do the reporting. So it's make life simpler. Initially, what was happening on the same database, I'm doing my ETL processing also and I'm reporting also. And when the load is happening, the end user getting impacted. So how to decouple ETL processing from where you're doing the reporting? That's changed my perspective about the data engineering, and it's a complex thing. And because that was a legacy applications, we not aware like how we'll handle it. So we have done a lot of reverse engineering. So it was interesting, like how you able to reconnect all those connections about data and how you understand what are the complexity at each part of a SQL.
Oh, that's because it was live. It was, I think, in production. That's why it was
Yeah.
difficult, quite difficult to
Yes.
deal with that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to compare, right? Like old legacy system, like nobody like
Hmm.
till now, if anything is working, it's difficult to touch it. Like, but the time
Right.
will come. So one
Hmm.
thing we have to remember, like whatever code I write today, it's have a lifespan, right? After 2 or 3 years or 5 years, this code is not relevant, right? I have to upgrade myself. So
Right.
that's a challenge, right? How you write a code, like it can more flexible, scalable, and handle all the future cases.
Right. Right. Correct. Correct. Agreed. Nice. That was a good challenge, and I'm sure it really did shape your perspective about data
Yeah.
engineering. Because when you face such challenges, you realize the importance and how do you deal with deal with such situations.
Correct. And the
Uh,
most critical, like I'll tell you, like for my experience, right?
mm,
And when I was an application engineer and went to the data engineering part, right?
mm,
The easiest part thing is that data ingestion, but data ingestion is one of the complex part. So the reason is that, right? The application team will focus to deliver whatever they want from the product side as an application. They don't think much about what impact going to happen onto the data team.
mm,
And we have to make a contract with the application team. There's a schema contract, but sometimes the schema contract breaks. So
mm,
how you make your ingestion in like more agnostic to any change in the source side, right? If the source side is changing the schema, how you make sure that your application, your ingestion pipeline not break. So that was the biggest challenge, right?
right,
Sometimes they change the data type, sometimes they add new table, some they add delete the table. This is the first thing we have to solve going forward to the reporting. If you make sure that your ETL pipeline able to handle any kind of a cases, what application team is doing, you have a more reliable application and you don't have to debug a lot of things. So this is the first thing we have to start thinking while working in the data engineering team, how you can make your ingestion as agnostic to the source change happening.
right. So the schema should be same and everything. A lot of things matter. Yeah.
Correct. So for simplicity, like what is happening for our side, every time we make a some contract that application team is making changes, so that we made very simple rule. Might be to work or not, but it made our application more scalable, more agnostic. So what we did, we made two thumb rules, right? We just have a three data type while doing ingestion into our retail pipeline. First thing, we made all the data type as a string by default. Then
Okay.
second is a timestamp, and third is
Mm,
a double or integer. So
wow.
because I'll give you an example, right? If the source is using order ID as a number, but
Mm,
while doing a processing, we are not doing any kind of an aggregation on the order ID. Even
right.
for me, string is enough. So I'll made everything as a string. So on the data or on the columns, I just need an aggregation. I put them as an integer or double. Other than all everything I made in a string. My boolean is also a string. So then if the source is changing, like in future they have a requirement that from the number they want to change order ID as a string because they want to split the order, then we
Right.
are good. Like we didn't get impacted. So this solve a lot, right? And I recommend to everyone follow this process. It will save a lot of pain in the future.
I can realize that how important these two thumb rules would be and how they can change their entire the
Yeah,
challenges they go through and a lot of problems they face.
correct. Yeah, and the second, like I'll suggest to everyone, like do not try to build the real-time application first. Real-time is always a pain. It's very difficult to manage. It's costly. First, try to check with the business that can you work with the T-1, like daily update, right? If they are okay with the daily update, then you can negotiate. Like, let's I can give you the hourly update. You
Mhm.
need to ask the right question, like why you need something real time. If you really want a real time reporting, can you directly go into and do an operation database all required, right? You just hit the operational database, create a read replica, and do the reporting from here instead of here pulling trying to pull with the cdc and do the processing. It always some error. So always push back, try to have. So like one more thing, right? Like whenever you're trying to pull data from any source, so always make sure to pull from the CDC and always try negotiate with the application team. Please have a read replica and do not hit their main database, right?
Main
That can
database,
create the
right?
complexity. So
Yeah.
always pull the data from the read replica. This make your life simpler, and they will not complain in future that because of data team the application got down.
Yeah, of course. It's a very important to not have access to the direct main database, rather just have read access
Yeah.
to it because it saves you from a lot of problems.
Yes. So even they say that we don't need it, but it's very
It's
safe in
important.
future for us. Yes.
Right. Okay. So can you share one data use case or any project you worked on and you found it most interesting or maybe challenging? I think you've already shared the one you found challenging, but any of the use cases you worked on which was really very interesting for you, or it pushed you to think differently about like how you are dealing with the workflow and how you're thinking about the problem statement.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing, right? Like, so my career, I use Kafka, Spark, and everything. Recently, the application team came come to me like, and they are facing a challenge because they were using event-driven approach. And
Okay.
there's a retail company. They are moving data from one microservice to other microservice with the help of a Kafka.
Hmm.
And there's a requirement is that like when there's a multiple of like my data is going one Kafka topic to the second Kafka topic and third Kafka topic, sometime the state of my order, like suppose you go buy something from Amazon and you want to know where is your order stuck, like is the payment
Yeah.
fail, is
Uh,
the stuck into the basket or somewhere, right?
hmm.
And today, even today, the biggest challenge is that like if you want to query the Kafka topic, it's not so easy. The UI is not fast enough, and it's always lag. You have a simple UI that's not sufficient enough. And the second challenge come like if you want to join the Kafka topic to stream. Like so, I have a data in Kafka 1, I have a data into Kafka 2. Then I want to join, and I don't want to bring a very complex solution. Like I don't want to go with the Kafka streaming. I don't want to the Spark streaming. Like so that I can give to the application team so that they can use it. Because they don't like aware about like handling this streaming and everything is very difficult for them. So they just want to reconcile the data across all that topic.
Oh,
So there's a requirement, right? They're trying very hard, and they're coming and they're facing the issue. Then we have discussed with we bring the very simple solution. So we identify there is like new database which is like taking a lot of popular now is a ClickHouse, and I recommend it's one of the best database. The ClickHouse is different, is do the compute or right, like so it's so smart, like when the data is going into the table at that moment is doing in a compute, right? So suppose I have aggregated table, and when the one record new will come, is automatically do the aggregations, and you don't have to wait. So it don't wait. Like if generally if I'll make a select star query, I do some aggregation. So I'll do the compute or read, which make my query slow. But in Kafka, with the help of ClickHouse, you can make a compute or write. So what we have done,
okay.
we have used the CDC connectors. We make a process there is like called, we have a special kind of a table in ClickHouse which called replace tree, merge tree. We push the data into the tree and then we quickly join this table. So within, I can say a microsecond, you can join the data across all the topic and get that what data is missing. So it's very easy. If someone want to build something the real time, the ClickHouse is good because I'll tell you the how this is one case.
Mm.
So initially, as it says, like our team has started to build the real-time application with the help of Read Replica. But Read Replica work very well when you don't have any kind of an aggregations. When the aggregation is start coming, it's very difficult to build on the Read Replica. You get high CPU usage and everything. Then we thought, okay, what we can do that. Then we started creating a materialized view, which do all complex compute, and then it get refresh every 5 minutes. We have to refresh every 5 minutes, but again that there's a lag there, like every 5 minute lag is there. What we can do that, then we bring the flink is very good choice, but if the team is new, they don't understand flink well, it's become very complex. Then we said, okay, can we do with the help of ClickHouse? So bring the data and use a special type of tree which do the aggregations on write, and then quickly we'll able to do the real time analytical with the help of ClickHouse.
That's interesting. So the people who are into this domain, it will be very
Yeah,
useful information for them because I think most of the people they face this issue that it's taking a lot of time because this processing of the data it's taking a lot of time. But if this
yeah.
can happen in a very short period of time, and especially when we are dealing with a huge amount of data, then it will be very helpful. This is very
And
insightful. Hmm.
trust me, Mansi, with the help of ClickHouse, you can set up the complex application within 2-3 days, and it's very fast. It's so efficient. It's like an open source. It's work very well.
Oh, that's very insightful. Thanks for sharing this information.
Yes, and ClickHouse is now built with inbuilt MCP server. So it's like now I'm a big fan of a ClickHouse, right? So I'll see that if why you're not able to use a ClickHouse, like what are the cases ClickHouse cannot solve. So it can
Hmm.
solve maximum cases now. If you have a data of, in your company have a data of less than 1 terabyte, ClickHouse is the one solution for all the problems. I can highly recommend for that.
That I think will help people a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in building ETL pipelines, so do you prefer working in cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, or GCP, or maybe local or on-premise setups? And what is the reason behind choosing which one?
So my preference is always go to the cloud agnostic, right? Like if I'll tell you, like this is my experience. I have built data in Databricks. We use Snowflakes. We have used everything,
Okay. Okay.
and Redshift also. So given an example in my use case, I'm bringing a data, and the approximate cost of data to building a pipeline is giving coming around 4 to 5K per month, 4 to 5K dollar per month. Then we thought it's become costly, right? Can we make it easy? Then we went to the cloud agnostic. So we use Airflow. Then we use EMR serverless. You can use anything. And with the help of Airflow, we are doing calling EMR serverless, putting all to data into S3. Then we're using Spark, doing all the complex calculations, and we're putting. So there's a two choice, like either Delta Lake, you can use Iceberg. This is one of the best. I guess the if you want to go anything, Iceberg should be the right choice. You have a Delta Lake and Hoodie also, but Iceberg is winning a lot of cases.
Okay.
So Iceberg file system is very good. You write in everything in Iceberg into merge, update, and everything. And the cost of all ETL pipeline become to $500 a month. So and the challenge was come, right, like when working with a company here. So we have to migrate all this data to a new cloud, like that is like which a new cloud is coming to the market, and it's very easy to migrate because you written all the code is cloud agnostic, right? You are not bound, and you're always looking to bring a new solution. So I highly recommend, do not do on-prem, it's become difficult to manage, and do not go
Yeah.
very cloud native also. Try to have a
Yeah.
cloud agnostic thing. It's manage everything, and it's very easy to scale also in future to any cloud.
That's true because if you want to move from one cloud to another, and if it's not cloud agnostic, then it will be again difficult to manage that.
Yes,
So there
correct.
should be a balance between on-prem and cloud.
Yes, and I'll tell you one thing, right? So something like if you build your application with the help of snowflakes and
Hmm.
Databricks, right? And when you scale and your application become lot of complex, and
Hmm.
then your bill also increase. And one fine day you start, okay, can I bring this solution to my Spark and open source? When you will notice the same query you're running in Spark in Open Spark, and the same query in the Databricks running faster, and you'll never know what extra they have, and it's very difficult for you to come back from the Databricks, right? It's take a lot of time. So I'll
Yeah.
highly recommend just try to with open source, and
Yeah.
then go with any this paid solution, because they are good, they are fast, they are efficient, they're easy to learn, there's a lot of advantage. But once you like grow at that scale, it's become very costly to manage also. Your
True.
50% of I say the team expand will go into
Budget.
managing the line sync.
True, true, true. And also with AI doing everything now, I think it's humans' responsibility. One of the major responsibilities to see how are we managing cost, because
Yes,
we can now basically do everything, everything which is possible. But one of the main factors is that how do we balance cost as well?
yes, and AI only help the people who are smarter coder, right? If you don't know anything, it's can create a lot of cost, right? So,
Yeah.
what I say about AI, it's a good slave and bad master. So I'll use very carefully.
Exactly, because if you do not know much about coding and you start doing it with the help of AI, you start getting in its trap and it'll give you a lot of errors, and then you won't even know where you started and where you are now.
And
There'll only be
understands.
a list of errors.
And I highly recommend, right? Do not rely 100% on AI, and reading like half an hour or 1 hour of a book and docs will save you a day of debugging, right? So I always recommend to reading the books, right? So read a nice book on Kafka. My favorite
Mm.
book is Data Intensive Applications. This is one of the five favorite book. I suggest all the data engineers should read this book, right? And Kafka Definitive Kind, the second book I recommend to read for all the data engineers. So it will really help you to the way you think will also change.
Hmm. Surely, because these books helps us a lot because the way they have designed solutions, the way they have written each and every detail about it. So reading this
Right.
just also triggers a lot of ideas in our mind, as in what approach, different approach we can follow for solving our use cases.
Right. Like we say that simply, right? In the world, right? You do mistake and you learn from mistake, but we don't have that much of time. Read the books, learn from other mistakes, then you will
Yeah.
move faster.
True, true. It's not possible for us to commit mistakes intentionally just on the purpose of learning. If someone else has already committed the same mistake, it's better to learn
Yeah.
from them.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay. So, in your experience, what's the right balance between engineering perfection and business delivery timelines?
Okay, you have to make a balance, right? So
Mm.
I'll tell you one failure in my team. Like we trying to build for one client, right? And we go with the full-fledged data mesh approach, and we start understanding. We understand all the domain and everything. And the same
Okay.
side, there's a pressure from the business also, right? They want to
Mm.
have the report. We said no, it's going to take a time. So we want to make a base fundamental, right? Like let's bring all the domain object together. Let's give the all team understand what is the data mesh and everything, and it took a
Yeah.
lot of time to bring everything on the place. And
Mm.
meanwhile the business lost the interest, right? They said no, that's
Mm.
fine. So first thing, right? So if I say to working with the data team, business has to be have a little patience. You have to make sure that they understand the in business the progress is slow, but once you made a platform, you will see the high progress. But the team, the meantime, they have to show some patience, but our responsibility also to give something which you can they demo to the client and demo to the customer, so that they can also say that the future they can invest more on the data team. If you say
Mm.
no, I'm going to take 6 months only to build a platform, and after that I can deliver one report, no, you're
Mm.
not going to survive. So you have to have a balance, right? You have to understand there is a north pole which is you have to achieve, but there's a short term goal which you have to demo something every once in a month, right? Even with the dummy data and everything.
Yeah, because I think I personally also feel this. Suppose if a requirement comes and we have to deliver that in a very short duration of time. The biggest
Yes.
challenge we face is then we do not have sufficient time to go through do everything very thoroughly and understand the process. Rather, it's just in all in very hurry that we have to deliver it because we have that timeline to deliver it. So in that
Yes.
entire process, we cannot do things very thoroughly. So one thing I think we also can do is we can build a POC, we can share that, we can demo them, and then maybe let's keep the client stick to us.
Yes.
That.
So do not pre-optimize. Like a lot of optimization is not a good approach in the initial state. So you go and do the optimization later. First, like try to make sure that you're able to fill the requirement of the business team, and then it will work, right? So it's
Yeah.
important. So this is like my rules, which I prefer. Like fix the next real problem. This is the first
Hmm.
home rule. So let's do that. Okay. And register premature complexity, right? Like you want to try say my system will become very complex in future. Do not try to make it them, and let the reality guide your design, right? Like you do not try to design very complex thing, right? Like I want to design this and this case. Let you'll try to cross the bridge when you arrive, right? Do not try to build anything. So focus on the current situation slowly and have the big picture in the mind.
Hmm. Bring perfection with iterations.
Yes,
What's that?
yes, correct.
Okay. Now technology evolves rapidly, as we all know. One day we wake
Correct.
up, every new day we have different AI models coming up and whatnot, different tools, services, and all. So, how do you personally keep yourself updated in data and analytics?
So I'll tell you, I agree on this partially and not partially. If you see
Okay.
from last 50 years, one thing is not change is the sequel. So always make sure that you are very strong in the sequel. Anything will come. Everyone going to write everything in the sequel. The Flink sequel is coming, Spark sequel is coming, or Databricks sequel is coming. Even everything is in sequel. So make
Yeah.
sure thinking about that, like everything is coming that keep changing. In the
Hmm.
end, a data engineer, I just have to you see that I need to be very good in writing the SQL. So
Hmm.
make sure that you should very strong in the SQL. But again,
Okay.
everything is keep changing, right? Today you're writing SQL in Postgres. Tomorrow you're going to write the SQL in Spark or somewhere else. So
Hmm.
always make sure that follow some. For me, like I'll follow some good influencer on LinkedIn. There's a lot of things,
Okay.
and there's like I'll use Medium articles also, and I subscribe them and go through that, and I'll keep reading. These are the things I'll do, and try to attend some events whenever you see some meetup
Yeah.
is there. You're able to help them. And I think there's one forum like Substack, right? So this is also good.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of good people. Follow them. You understand, right?
Yeah.
For me, in the data world, you might be know that Jack, like he's one of the best data engineer. They're the Seattle guy. I follow them. Even I have a 20 year of experience. I keep
Hmm.
learning from them. So I'll
Hmm.
see if someone is putting some good content. There is no harm, right? Instead of spending
Yeah.
your time on Insta or anything,
Uh,
follow these guys. Really going to help you.
because they are doing that research part, so we should take knowledge
Yes.
from them. It's good. Yes.
Yeah. And try to learn from the real experience, right? Like book, you give the knowledge, but
Very
the people
important.
who face the
Hmm.
real project experience, right? And learn from them. Always go and even I suppose I join as a junior in the data team. Try to go and talk to your data lead, what challenge they have
Hmm.
faced, right?
Hmm.
And if you see that now the new data engineers coming, they will not understand the pain of the people like us, which move from 10-year-old the journeys we have seen. Now they have everything ready made and everything is ready, but still the fundamental remain the same. They understand the what kind of challenge they face. Or, and what I used to do in my company, like I reserve Friday for learning, right? Like have some real challenges, try 4 hours. Think learning is important, right? If you don't
Hmm.
learn, it's very difficult. Use Udemy or some certification also help you a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keep
Right.
learning, else it's very difficult to survive in the data world.
Sure. Yes. True. Okay. And what role does learning and development play in your organization? So, do you actively use L&D programs to sharpen your skills? Maybe your company is organizing some hackathon or maybe some training programs.
Yes. So in our company, we have a quarterly hackathon. So hackathon is really help us to build something new. Second, then we have self-study. Like we have a different learning platform like Udemy, which will
Okay.
subscribe to that. We'll buy that, and then I have created some good open source references also, which I recommend. And then
Oh.
we have some books that we'll prefer to read.
Hmm.
So you learn a lot from the hackathon because when go you try to build, you face a challenge, then
Yeah.
you go and search, right? And in our company, it's like AI driven. We
Okay.
everyone has access to the Chat GPT. We have Gemini, and then we have using Cursor AI to build the tools. So because of
Okay.
that, our company able to deliver things faster
Hmm.
in like less than 40% of the time, and we are building a right cursor rule so that the team learn from each other and move faster
Yes.
while developing the project.
Okay. I think when you are in hackathons, there's a lot of competition, and that competition triggers you and it motivates you to build good
Yes,
solutions.
right.
So,
Like
yes,
now,
exciting.
hackathon is a try to solve something which is your tech dev also, right? It's the right
Hmm.
time to solve something is tech dev, like, and you want to solve good to have things. And when all team work together, we can build something right solution. So now building
Right.
something production ready in one day is not difficult because with the help of Cursor AI.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I really suggest for everyone, if you try to write some code, can
Hmm.
you think twice, like why I'm writing the code? Can't my cursor AI cannot write this code?
Hmm.
Can I write the write test cases for it? Like always think, right? If you're doing something manually, you are trying to create a design document, try to create a Confluence document, you are doing some Figma designing. How I can, use
Right.
AI to make it more faster and optimized way. So then you can learn faster. So that's a common thing, right? The AI will not replace you. The people who are using smart AI will replace you.
True. Because if you're doing something manually and there's an, on the other hand, there's your competition who's doing something with the help of AI,
Yeah,
they will deliver things faster. You
right.
have to use AI smartly, but again, cautiously as well. Yeah. And what upcoming trends in data engineering or analytics excite you the most over next few years?
So I'll tell you, like in the old world, right?
Hmm.
We used to build lot of reports, right? And then there's a requirement is coming, as you mentioned earlier, and the team is spending 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 days to build the report. Now no one has a time for that. Now everyone want text to SQL, right? I just write my business problem. What is my average sale? Then I'll get that
Yes.
answer. So we every team across the world is focusing on that. No, so on ad hoc request, business make a text, and the chart will come with the right graphs and all the details. So this is the latest team where we are focusing with the MCP server, how we can mature the data, and I don't have to work with a different 100 dashboard. The dashboard will generate at the runtime depending upon the problem statement given by the customer or the user, and then take that request and feed to a system, and we can get the report within a few seconds. So that's important. And if you're trying to still stuck on creating a static dashboard, then it's very difficult, right? And give an example, right? uh, One more, you have to think, right? When someone asks that they want a real-time report, but why you need a real-time report? As an
Yeah.
end user, I want a real-time report. I want to take some action, right? Like,
Hmm.
so a human, it takes some action on the some cases, right? So all the real-time report is going to build for the system, not for the human in the future. So that there is some action is taken out of. Assume that with the help of real-time report, I see that my sale is getting down. So that could be the issue that my application is down or my system is not there. So everything is now moving around the agents and everything. So human is not going to use the real-time report in the future. Human is going to use the yearly or monthly report, which help to take the some business decisions. But the real-time report is going to use by the systems.
Yes. That will serve as a training data or analytics data for the system.
Yes,
Right. Okay, great. Now let's move to quickly a small rapid fire round. I'll ask
sure,
you some two choices and you have to answer.
sure.
All right, so let's begin with it. SQL or Python?
SQL,
Cloud or on-premise? I think you've already answered. Yeah.
cloud-based talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Batch processing or real-time streaming?
a batch now.
Okay. One data tool you can't live without.
One data tool like in Spark,
Okay. Debugging with coffee or music?
Coffee,
Okay. One skill every data engineer must master.
SQL,
Okay. One word to describe your career journey so far.
data.
Data. Great. Great. So with this, we comes to an end of this podcast, and I'm genuinely saying you've really, like even the way you've explained the concepts with examples and the way you have answered, it will help us a lot, especially about that books you've recommended and the tool you were suggesting. It will
Yep.
help everybody a lot. Thanks a lot for being there. Thank
And
you.
thank you, Ansi. Thanks for giving time. And even in future, like if you have any questions or query related to the data, you can ping me. I'll definitely reply. Like I love to solve challenging
Uh,
problem in data.
okay, great, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being there.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.